Sex and power in society are more balanced today than before in the 1900s and in Antigone, when women were considered the property of men and were subservient to them. In Antigone by Sophocles, Antigone, the princess of Thebes, is condemned to the fate of living in a vault of stone by her uncle, Creon, the king of Thebes, because she covered her brother Polynices' body with dirt in a makeshift burial, and by doing so she went against the law mandated by Creon. It was unheard of at this time that a mere woman would dare to go up against a man, much less a king. Creon and the sentry, at this point unaware of Antigone's role thus far, try to locate the person responsible for covering Polynices' body. They keep referring to a man being brought back to pay for the crime, because they never believed a woman could do such a thing. Antigone is a woman with a mind and her own set of morals and values that she believes in and stands up for them against dominant men despite the consequences of what she knows will happen. In stark contrast to Antigone, there is her docile sister Ismene, who knows her place in society and follows what men have decided for her. She is hesitant to go up against Creon, or any man in general, stating things like, "We are only women, we cannot fight with men," or "I am helpless, I must yield to those in authority." It is not until later, when Antigone is first sentenced to death, that Ismene has a change in heart and decides that Antigone was right, and she too wants to have her share of the punishment. Creon, on the other hand, acts exactly how someone would think a tyrant would back in 441 BC towards women in society, as inferior beings. Creon is very condescending towards Antigone, asking who the man is here. She or I of this crime goes unpunished, and for they are but women, and even brave men run when they see death coming. Now, I don't see Creon as a villain in the play. An antagonist, yes, but a villain, no, because he does relent his punishment as the play progresses. First, he lets Ismene off the hook when he first decides to kill her along with Antigone. Then he changes his decision from outright executing Antigone to holding her prisoner in a tomb, and finally to listening to the prophet instead of acting paranoid that he was bribing him. I think that Creon let the power that came along with being king go to his head. That's why he was acting like a tyrant, because of his determination to make Thebes great, and he couldn't do it if he had someone going against the first law he made, and especially a woman at this point in time. In today's society, sex and power have equaled out. Women are bound to the home and hearth, with men being the only breadwinner. Even in households where it was considered the woman's place, women were still considered subordinate when the men were the king of the castle. Now, though, in my house and in my friends' homes, the women are considered the head of households, and if someone wants something, it's always "ask mom." Though there are still some women staying at home and are satisfied with that, others aren't. There seems to be almost like a gender role reversal where it's women going out into the workforce while men are staying home taking care of the house. Nowadays, women are getting college degrees, which lead to career choices, and then to annual salaries. Also, with career choices, more opportunities are open towards women now. We can become firefighters, police officers, politicians, CEOs of multi-million-dollar corporations, and even join the military. Even though women now have all these amazing opportunities we didn't have before, women are still getting treated lesser than men in the professional field. Some women aren't getting paid the same amount a man would for the same job with the same qualifications. And while the glass ceiling, or the barrier to advancement in profession, has broken a bit in places, it is still there for women. And only time will tell if or when it breaks altogether, finally giving equality to both genders.